In this video, we will be talking about the Third Philippine Republic, martial law and the Fourth Philippine Republic, and the Fifth Philippine Republic. So to start with, let me discuss first the Third Philippine Republic. So talking about the Third Philippine Republic, it was actually uh, after World War II when our country was given its independence by the United States of America, July 4, 1946. Of course, our country was destroyed by the war, but it's time for rehabilitation in our own way. So, the first president of the Third Philippine Republic, or otherwise known as the Philippine Independent Republic, atin na po ito, okay? We are the one running our own government as an independent state. Manuel Rojas was elected as president of the Third Philippine Republic. First president. And he was also the last president of the Commonwealth. So, in his administration class, Manuel Rojas focused more on the rehabilitation of our country. And by the way, what was the constitution used in the Third Philippine Republic? Then it was the 1935 Constitution, where the president will serve 4 years with 2 terms. So therefore, Rojas will serve from 1946 to 1950 supposedly. Now, what happened to him? Of course, after 2 years of serving our country, then nagkaroon po ng nangyari sa Clark. He died in April 15, 1948. So, because of that, okay, he was not able to continue his program for our government, but his vice president succeeded, which no other than Elpidio Quirino. So Elpidio Quirino became the second president of the Third Philippine Republic. So he succeeded Rojas in 1948 and until 1953. So Elpidio Quirino was recognized by the United States as a great builder in this country, in our country. Okay, in the significant event of Rojas Quirino administration, okay, he was able to continue the program of Manuel Rojas. However, with all the economic development of the country, his administration was challenged by a serious threat to the Huk Balahap or the Huks or the communist movement in our country led by Luis Aruk. So because of that class, in 1953, when Elpidio Quirino ran again for president, then he lost to Ramon Magsaysay. Okay. So Ramon Del Piero Magsaysay won the election. So with that, there was a loss of trust from the masses. So because of that, Ramon Magsaysay won the election in 1953 for, of course, 4 years until 1957. And talking about Ramon Magsaysay class, okay, Ramon Magsaysay being the man of the masses, nandun yung trust. So therefore, the communist group, okay, changed their heart, and they support Ramon Magsaysay's administration. So therefore, the communist party of the Philippines reduced in number, and of course the threat to communism, okay, almost gone during the time. Not totally, but it was reduced by Ramon Magsaysay. Again, as we all know, the man of the masses. And he was so nationalistic, okay, talking about him, and very, very patriotic as well. Okay. And he was the first president, no, who wear barong Tagalog. That's why pinasikat po niya itong barong Tagalog, and therefore barong Tagalog became the Filipino formal, no, male costume. Okay. And at the same time, he was the president that he opened Malacanang to the people. So that's as far as Ramon Magsaysay. Now, in 1957, supposedly, Ramon Magsaysay will run again because it is allowed, or it was allowed under the 1935 Constitution. But what had happened, he died in plane crash at Mount Manunggal, Cebu in March 17, 1957. So, because of that, okay, he was succeeded by his vice president, who was, of course, Abar Tatnacher from Bohol, no? From Talibon po ito, Cebuano po ito, okay? O Boholano, which no other than Carlos Polistico Garcia or Carlos P. Garcia. So, Carlos P. Garcia, of course, the fourth president, no, of the Third Philippine Republic. Okay. So then talking about Carlos P. Garcia, okay, he was also known as the Prince of Visayan Point. Okay, so marunong tong magsulat, and of course his legacy was of course the so-called Filipino First policy. Okay? Which, when we talk about this Filipino First policy, it was a policy which put the interest of the Filipino people above those of foreigners and of the ruling party. So yan po ang contribution of Carlos P. Garcia from 1957 to 1961. So Diosdado Macapagal Class was elected in 1961. So the man from Bohol, Carlos P. Garcia, lost to Diosdado Macapagal in 1961 election. So Diosdado will serve for 4 years from 1961 to 1965 as the fifth president of the Third Philippine Republic. So talking about Diosdado Macapagal's administration, he was the president who conceptualized the agrarian reform and land reform program, though he was not able to implement that one during his time. Then, he was also the president who changed the celebration of our Independence Day. If you remember, okay, there was the declaration of Emilio Aguinaldo in June 12, 1898, but somehow it was not recognized by the American people when they occupied our country. That's why there was no celebration. Then, the next celebration of our Independence Day was July 4, 1946, where it was also the celebration of the Third Philippine Republic and independent Philippine Republic. Now, in Macapagal administration, it changed that Independence Day from July 4 back to June 12. So therefore, from 1962 until today, as a matter of law, then our Independence Day is June 12. So what happened to July 4? And July 4 became Filipino-American Friendship Day. Then of course, it was also during Macapagal administration that our country joined with Malaysia and Indonesia, where they established the so-called Mafilindo. Okay, no? So Malaysia, Philippines, Indonesia Association, okay, or organization. So Mafilindo. Then, in 1965, Diosdado Macapagal ran again for president. However, he lost to his party mate, which of course, the president of the Senate that time, Abar Taplatser, number 1 ito sa bar exam, from Ilocos region, Ferdinand Emmanuel Edralin Marcos. So Ferdinand Marcos became the 6th and the last president of the Third Philippine Republic. All in all, Marcos is actually the 10th president of our country. Emilio Aguinaldo. So, in his first term, from 1965 to 1969, his administration class, it was the time that this concept right now of our President Duterte came into the picture. This so-called build program in our government and country. So it was actually conceptualized and even started during the time of Ferdinand Marcos. So bridges. So it was more on infrastructure, okay, on the time of Ferdinand Marcos. So now, in 1969, okay, Marcos ran again for president because it was allowed under the 1935 Constitution. And in 1969, Marcos won the election. So therefore, in the Philippine Independent Republic, as far as the Third Republic is concerned, Marcos was the first president who was elected or re-elected as president to serve for another 4 years. So from 1969 to 1973. And that time, in the second term of Ferdinand Marcos, with all those infrastructure, the build program of the government, our country also with Malaysia and Indonesia from that Mafilindo, it was changed, okay, to ASEAN. So more countries in Asia, in Southeast Asia, joined. Okay, so that's why here comes the Association of Southeast Asian Nation, okay, which was established in August 8, 1967. So nawala na yung Mafilindo, naging ASEAN na po yan. Okay, now, in the second term of Ferdinand Marcos, doon na yung nagsimula yung sabihin natin mga issues class. Okay, issues about corruption, okay, poverty, and of course the threat to rebellion. If you will go back to Manuel Rojas' time and Elpidio Quirino, there was an issue of the Communist Party in the Philippines at the time. But during Ramon Magsaysay, nawala yun. Then, nabalik during the time of the second term of Ferdinand Marcos. So may mga issues doon. Street demonstration, okay, student demonstration, okay, ganito, no? And of course, yung CPP that time increased in number, which was which buhay pa itong leader hanggang ngayon, Juma season. Okay. So, yan po. So there was a threat to communism. Therefore, in September 21, 1972, because of this threat to rebellion, okay, and communism in our country, especially the CPP Okay? Naggawa ng establish ng isang armed group which is the New People's Army. So that's why it's now called CPP NPA. Ngayon naging CPP NPA NDF. Okay? So with that, Ferdinand Marcos declared martial law. So therefore, class, in 1972, before Marcos will end his second term in 1973, again because of the threat of rebellion and communism, with the presence of the New People's Army or NPA, then under Proclamation number 1081, then here comes the declaration of martial law. And when we talk about martial law, which is otherwise known as Batas Militar, okay, it is actually a law which temporarily imposition of direct military control of the normal civil functions. So meaning to say that the commander-in-chief, which is the president, give more power to the military for the purpose of suppressing the threat of communism, lawlessness, criminality, and rebellion. Which of course today, no, we talk about martial law. If there is a declaration of martial law, just like what happened to Mindanao, no, in the siege, Marawi siege, if there is a threat, especially not only communism and rebellion, now with terrorism, so if there is a need, then the president may declare martial law. So therefore, going back, in 1972, Ferdinand Marcos, the president, declared martial law. And again, the purpose of that, because of the threat to communism and rebellion in our country. Okay. So, ito yung mga nangyari, no? So, during that time, the Communist Party, headed by Jose Maria Sison or Juma Sison, as what I have mentioned, medyo lumakas with the presence of the New People's Army, the armed group. Okay. And of course, yung the Battle of Minjula, okay, the first quarter storm. Then the presence now of the Muslim group in Mindanao, nag-organize po sila, yung Moro National Liberation Front or MNLF, at saka ngayon mayroon ng MILF. Then nandoon naman yung mga Abu Sayyaf. Sa ngayon yan, before wala pa. Then of course the bombing, no? May mga bombing incidents to include the Plaza Miranda bombing in August 21, 1971. And of course the so-called, no, the issue on Juan Ponce Enriquez ambush, in September, no, 22, 1972. So yun, so kailangan na talaga yung declaration of martial law, again to suppress lawless violence. Okay, so yun ang nangyari. So ito yung nakita nyo si Juma Sison yun, okay, head ng communist group, okay, which until ngayon, no, nandyan pa rin yung pangalan, tunog na tunog. Okay. Then of course, itong sabi ko kanina, Battle of Mindula, the first quarter storm, okay. Then the bombing, the Plaza Miranda bombing, okay, and the ambush of Juan Ponce Enriquez. So, yan. Now, what were the effects of this martial law when it was declared? Of course, Batas Militar, so therefore there was what? Militarization in our government that time. Okay. Then of course, Marcos controlled, no, the government, being the chief executive and the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of the Philippines. Then, of course, change of the constitution. So kailangan baguhin yung constitution. Yun ang isang agenda, no, of that event. Then of course, yung issue na naging dictator po siya. So, dictatorial because he governed, he controlled. Yan. Then of course, yung absence of what? Election. That's why sabi nila nawala yung demokrasya kasi walang election. Because there was a threat, according to Marcos, there was a threat in this administration. So, then it is under martial law. So, walang nangyaring election. So, supposedly, Marcos will end his term in 1973. Then, another presidential election. Bawal na siyang tumakbo. But because of martial law, walang election. So, tuloy-tuloy na siya yung presidente during the martial law years, no? From 1972 hanggang 1981. Bago pa man yung presidential election in June 16, 1981. So tuloy-tuloy ang pagka-presidente na Ferdinand Marcos, yung father ni Bongbong Marcos. Okay. So therefore, Marcos continued as president of our country from 1973 to 1981. So wala na yung Third Philippine Republic. That's why, as what I mentioned, siya yung last president of the Third Philippine Republic. Then nagka-martial law bago yung Fourth Philippine Republic. So ito yung new social order upon the declaration of martial law, no? Under Proclamation 1081. Okay, dated September 21, 1972. Then, martial law features, okay, pledges. Okay. So, ano ba yung pledges? Okay. So, that's the declaration. Then, ito yung features ng martial law. Okay, pledges. So, in the declaration of martial law, therefore, ito yung agenda or yung programa na gusto ni Marcos na mangyari. Pledges. P, peace and order, land reform. E, economic development. D, development of moral values. G, government reform. Then educational reform and social services. So, added na po ito for that build program of our president, no? That time, Ferdinand Marcos. Okay. Then of course, okay, the policy, no, for our Muslim brothers. So yan po ang policy. Okay, after the declaration of martial law, then nagkaroon na yung autonomous region of Muslim Mindanao. May Tripoli agreement yan or Tripoli agreement na nangyari. Okay. Then as far as foreign relation, okay, during Marcos era, so assure the safety of the US military bases. So nandyan yung US or nandito yung US sa Subic at saka sa Clark. Okay. So ito pong mga nangyari at saka yung diplomatic relations natin with People's Republic of China in 1975. Okay. So yan. And open relations with the USSR, okay, or the Union Soviet Socialist Republic. Okay, and exchange ambassador with 54 countries. So therefore, may mga magandang foreign relations nangyari. Now, in January 17, 1973, the new Philippine Constitution was approved. So therefore, anong nangyari sa 1935? It was abolished. And here comes the 1973 Constitution. And in that Constitution, President Marcos, okay, was allowed to run for president. So, because of that class, in June 16, 1981 election, Marcos won the election after he lifted the martial law in January. So in January 1981, yung martial law ay nawala na. So there was already a proclamation na stop na yung martial law in January 15, 1981. Okay. So with that, okay, nagkaroon na ng election. So, first election after martial law. Presidential election. So, June 16, that's what I mentioned, 1981, Marcos won the election. So, he was elected as president. And under the 1973 Constitution, the president will serve 6 years. So, yung 4 years, nawala na yun with 2 terms. Naging 6 years yung term. And of course, can be re-elected after serving 6 years. So yan. So after that election, when Marcos was elected in June 1981, then dyan na po yung nagsimula yung Fourth Philippine Republic. So therefore, how many presidents are there in the Fourth Philippine Republic? Only one. And that is no other than Ferdinand Marcos, who will serve 6 years. So therefore, from 1981 to 1987. Okay. So, ito, class, makita nyo what happened. Pope John Paul nakarito po sa Pilipinas. Okay. So, and Ferdinand Marcos again was re-elected for 6 years. Okay. Now, here comes the beginning of the end. Okay. So, anong nangyari within that 6 years? Okay. So, economic crisis, okay? Large budgetary deficits, malaki yung foreign debts natin, okay? Maraming foreign loans, and of course, the issue on corruption. Okay. So, ito yung mga issues na binato. Okay, no? So, yan. Now, in 1983, okay, August 21, Ninoy Aquino, okay, former senator, went to America in 1981 after he was arrested and jailed because of the Plaza Miranda bombing. Okay, returned. Okay, so in order perhaps to challenge Marcos for a debate. Okay, and there was that idea that if he will return, something will happen to him. And of course, in August 21, 1983, in his arrival in Manila International Airport, Ninoy Aquino was assassinated. And because of that, nagkaroon ng political issue sa bayan natin or sa country natin. And with that, class, then what happened next? Okay? Then people, okay, call for justice for Ninoy because of his death or assassination. Street rallies again, bumalik. And because of that, mayroon ng political pressure for Ferdinand Marcos. So, therefore, instead that Ferdinand Marcos will end his term in 1987, then Marcos decided to have what? A snap election. Okay? Ito yung assassination. So, snap election in February 7, 1986. So, nagkaroon ng snap election and of course, it was PBL, Kilusan ng Bagong Lipunan of Ferdinand Marcos versus PDP Laban, Partido Demokratikong Pilipino at Lakas ng Bayan. Okay, that's why, class, yung sign in that election, yung victory for Marcos, Marcos pa rin, at saka yung Laban. Okay? So, in that election, Marcos and Tolentino, okay? And of course, the Aquino and Laurel. So ito yung mga protest, sabi ko kanina, yung mga demonstration. So the snap election. Okay. So nagkaroon ng snap election February 11, 1986. So yan po, the opposition unites. So Aquino Laurel versus Marcos Tolentino. Okay. Then, yan po ang kampanya. Sinong nanalo? With all the issues, vote buying, according to some historian, ito yung one of the confusing election and dirtiest election that happened in our country because of dagdag bawas, vote buying, use of arms, goons, okay? Lahat na dirty politics and election happened. So with that, at the end of the election, Marcos still won the election. That will serve for another 6 years under the 1973 Constitution. So therefore, from 1986 hanggang 1992. So hindi katanggap-tanggap ng mga taong bayan. At that time, siguro, after 20 years, kailangan magbago na. Okay. So parang tama na, sobra na, palitan na. So the United Opposition therefore came up with, of course, itong after the proclamation of Ferdinand Marcos in February 15, 1986 by the COMELEC, nag-take oath po siya, then here comes the People Power Revolution. Okay, where it was February 16, 1986, people started to make protest. Then, in February 22, 1986, nakita ng mga military na like in the leadership of Lieutenant General that time, Fidel V. Ramos, and the Secretary of Defense, which is Juan Ponce Enrile. So, nag-change po sila ng support. So, doon sila sa mga tao at saka yung RAM, yung Reform Armed Forces Movement. Okay. That time, led by Colonel Unasan. So, with that class, from February 22 now to 25, 1986, diyan na yung EDSA. Okay. People Power Revolution. And with that, it ousted Marcos from power. So Marcos and family left Malacanang. And therefore, Cory Aquino, in February 25, 1986, took her oath as our president. Ayan po si Ramos at saka Juan Ponce Enrile. Okay? Yan po ang picture natin sa EDSA People Power Revolution. Then after that, yan na po, Cory Aquino took her oath as our president in February 25, 1986. Now, was Cory Aquino elected? Actually, as Marcos was elected. So, Cory Aquino and Joy Laurel became the president and vice president because of people power. Revolution. So therefore, it was somehow a revolutionary government. We can call also that as a de facto government. But their presidency was, of course, upheld by the Supreme Court. And therefore, when Cory Aquino became the president in 1986, so what happened to the 1973 Constitution? It was abolished, right away. And Cory Aquino came up with 1986 Freedom Constitution. And of course, the passage of the new Constitution, where that Constitution is still the Constitution we are using until today, the 1987 Constitution. So now, What was the value or the importance of that EDSA, People Power Revolution? Okay. Nothing is impossible. Everything is possible if every Filipino will be united as one. So if there is unity, it removed Ferdinand Marcos peacefully, no? After serving our country for 20 years as president. And of course, as far as democracy is concerned, no government officials will stay in power if the people will call or to do something. And of course, the government officials should listen to the will of the people or voice of the people. Okay? So that's what democracy is all about. Therefore, democracy was restored that time after Ferdinand Marcos administration. So therefore, Cory Aquino started her presidency and the Fifth Philippine Republic. So Cory Aquino became the first president of the Fifth Philippine Republic. So therefore, Cory Aquino started her presidency and the Fifth Philippine Republic. So Cory Aquino became the first president of the Fifth Philippine Republic. So, therefore, class, okay, Cory Aquino, again, naging first president of the Fifth Philippine Republic from 1986 to 1992. Because 6 years yung nasa 1987 Constitution. And by the way, Cory Aquino naging first female president or lady president natin. Again, because of the People Power EDSA Revolution. Kaya sabi pa dito, the icon of democracy, there was democracy, but of course, there are so many issues also. Why? Because the elite group, okay, or the oligarchs again coming. Okay. So that's why it's the same issues right now. Okay. So, yan, naging popular po si Cory Aquino that time. Then, of course, during Cory Aquino, yung trust ng tao, okay, sige, bago eh. So, tingnan natin. So, medyo bumaba yung issue ng graft and corruption at yung oligarkiya, medyo tumaas. Okay. Yung mga Lopez's, yung mga Chinese businesses at etc. Okay, nagbalik yun. Okay. Then of course, after Cory Aquino in 1992, yan po yung first presidential election under the 1987 Constitution, where the 12th and the second president, okay, of the Fifth Philippine Republic, okay, was elected in the person of Fidel V. Ramos, where in his administration, nakafocus po siya itong agenda niya, Philippines 2000, itong 5-point program of Fidel V. Ramos. Okay? Yung peace and stability. Kasi former Chief of Staff and Secretary of Defense. So economic growth and sustainable development. Energy and power generation. Environmental protection and streamlined democracy. So yan po yung programa ni Fidel V. Ramos. First, non-Catholic Christian president ng bansa natin, Fidel V. Ramos. Okay. Then, of course, after Ramos, in 1998, okay, an actor, okay, from being a mayor of San Juan, tumakbo bilang president because he was also the vice president that time. Then, Estrada won the election in 1998. So, naging third president po siya of the Fifth Philippine Republic under the 1987 Constitution. And among the elected government official, siya po yung hindi nakapagtapos ng kolehiyo. And what happened then? After 3 years of serving as president, then he was charged of corruption, plunder, and so on and so forth. So therefore, he was ousted or he stepped down in 2001. So hindi siya nakapagtapos sa kanyang termino na 6 years. And he was charged in Sandigan Bayan, where actually, after 6 years, he was what? Guilty as charged. But then, he was given amnesty by President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, or pardon, okay, by GMA. Therefore, nawala yung imprisonment niya. Okay. So, therefore, in 2001, okay, so, yeah, tingnan nyo. So, yun ang nangyari. So, he was jailed. Then, in 2001, Gloria Macapagal Arroyo became our president by succession, who will serve until 2004 under the 1987 Constitution. So Gloria was the vice president, then naging presidente by succession because Joseph Estrada stepped down. So Gloria became the fourth president rather of the Fifth Philippine Republic and the second female president in our country. Then in 2004, doon maganda yung sinimulan ni Gloria. Then in 2004, she ran for president in 2004. And he won against, of course, Fernando Poe Jr., FAG, in 2004 election, of which Gloria will serve for 6 years. So therefore, class, as our history of the 1987 Constitution, which again, until now, 1987 pa rin po tayo, Gloria served the longest president under the 1987 Constitution. But to all the presidents, second po siya. Okay? To Ferdinand Marcos. Kasi 20 years, sa kanya, 9 years. Okay. So yan po. And of course, alam natin kung ano yung mga nangyari during the time of Gloria. No? Marami pong mga issue dyan. May mga, ito yung 10-point agenda po ni Gloria. You can read this one in our materials. Okay? So nanalo siya in 2004. And of course, until 2010. Pero again, maraming issue po dyan. Okay? Yung mga, she was even charged of plunder. Yung ZTA broadband deal, marami pong mga issues. Okay. During the 6-year term of Gloria from 2004 to 2010. So that's why he faced in the, I'm so sorry. Parang ganun. And of course, in 2010, the 5th president or the 15th president of the 5th Philippine Republic, okay, won the election. Noynoy. Okay, Aquino. So, naging third youngest president to be elected in our country. No? After that, Ramon Magsaysay and Ferdinand Marcos, Emilio, hindi yun na-elected eh. Okay. Pero yung elected, Ramon Magsaysay at Ferdinand Marcos, then Noynoy. Okay. Naging presidente natin, again, who will serve for 6 years from 2010 to 2016. So, Noynoy, of course, son of yung icon natin, unang pangulo na babae, okay, Corazon Aquino, at saka Benigno, no? Ninoy Aquino. So, yan po. And of course, Noynoy's time, so marami namang may mga ligasiya naman, pero marami namang issues, di ba? Especially yung Masasapano, yung sa Yolanda, yun. So, therefore, in 2016 election, okay, yung Liberal Party, okay, lost to our very own president, okay, the fourth Bisaya president class. Okay, no, at least you will know, no? Siya yung pang-apat na Bisaya president. From Sergio Osmeña Sr., then Manuel Rojas, then Carlos P. Garcia, then after that, ngayon lang, after Carlos P. Garcia, ngayon lang na nagkaroon po tayo ng Bisaya president for a long time, and that's no other than Rodrigo Duterte, who became what? The 16th President of the Republic of the Philippines, the 6th President of the 5th Philippine Republic, and elected 2016. O sa baga class, puro may size, no? Okay, sa dulo. The 16th, the 6th, elected 2016. Okay. Change is coming. Ayan. So actually class, sa tingin ko naman, maganda naman yung performance ng Pangulo natin, Rodrigo Duterte, especially in his infrastructure projects, the Build program. Nagka-problema lang po because of the pandemic. Okay? For 2 years itong pandemya. If not with this pandemya, then kitang-kita natin yung Build program ng presidente natin, which kita natin hanggang ngayon. That's why yung tax rating ng presidente natin mataas pa rin. Okay. Then malapit na rin matapos yung termino niya by 2022, June 30. Okay, under the 1987 Constitution. So isang abogado, no? So the last president na lawyer was Ferdinand Marcos, and after that wala na. Ngayon lang in this administration na lawyer yung naging presidente natin. Okay? So that's it class, no? Yung third martial law, fourth, and the 5th Philippine Republic. Thank you so much for watching and listening in this video discussion.